Now, white elephant and massive waste of money, or essential and much needed infrastructure which will transform Australia into a world-leading 21st century country. Whatever you think of it, the national broadband network is now well under construction, with Armidale in New South Wales the next town scheduled to be connected. As you'd expect, though, a $43 billion project is not going to be plain sailing. Reporter Andrew Robertson has been talking with experts who are watching the NBN rollout very closely.
It's Labor's great nation-building plan, 100 megabits per second of high-speed internet to 93% of the population by 2020, with a highly contentious bill of more than $40 billion to go with it. It's a Rolls-Royce fibre-to-the-home model, and some who study the numbers have doubts about whether it will ever pay for itself.
The company's aiming to get around a $33 average revenue within 2 years, and that's a good 30% or so above the best benchmark paid by broadband access seekers at the moment. So it's a pretty tall ask.
Getting the NBN built, though, is the biggest issue at the moment, and one of the keys to minimising the huge cost is access to Telstra's existing network. The government and Telstra have agreed to an $11 billion deal. The competition regulator, though, is taking time to be convinced.
People were expecting that Telstra and the ACCC would be closer together. So at least in my view, we are looking at a potential delay of the shareholder vote, which is scheduled for October. If that is the case, things might sort of move back into to next year.
Even without the Telstra vote, the project is already behind schedule, but at this stage, Teo Maas is not concerned.
The 10-year rollout schedule is a bit academic in the sense that, again, we need to get over that first bump in terms of the next election, because we have very different views between the incumbent government and the coalition on the other side.
All the people we spoke to for this report mentioned the next election as one of the biggest risks to the NBN because of that policy difference between the two sides. However, independent telecommunications analyst Paul Buddha, who focuses on the technical side rather than the finances, says those actually building the NBN are determined to see it finished.
I haven't come across one single vendor who actually is saying, oh, you know, let's try and delay it and something else will happen after the next election.
Paul Buddha, though, is critical of the way the government is selling the NBN to the electorate. He believes it's focusing on the wrong issues.
When you start looking at cost benefits, $30 billion, could be saved in healthcare, if you have an NBN, $2 billion with smart grids. That's when you really start talking about where the social and economic benefits are. There has been too much emphasis on high-speed broadband as a telecommunication service, and there's much more in it than that.
An area where the jury is still out is the growth of wireless communication and its likely impact on the national broadband network. As he launched Optus's 4G network, Chief Executive Paul O'Sullivan denied he was trying to compete with the NBN.
We think people will certainly use the NBN at home and in the office, where they can get access to it, for fairly heavy bandwidth requirements and for applications and content which need really big pipes. But as they go out and about, they'll still want to be able to get the benefits of a lot of applications and content, and for that they'll use the wireless networks.
RBS's Ian Martin, though, isn't so sure. He thinks wireless take-up will be a lot higher than those building the NBN are estimating.
The fixed line industry has actually declined about 3% last year, and that's the third year of decline, largely because the more valuable traffic, voice and even more valuable data traffic, is moving across from fixed line to mobile.
Just who's right should become clearer as the NBN is progressively turned on.